What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Piscine Predator. I'm back with that TPP True Crime Talk. Before we jump into the topic for this video, can you smash that like and that subscribe wherever they are? And yeah, I appreciate it greatly if you do that. And for those that have done that, much love you all. This subscriber count just keeps slowly growing. Appreciate you guys. All right, let's jump into this topic. This topic for this video is the Nathan Millard case, right? Now, it's a little bit of an update, and I'm going to go ahead and speculate on my feelings and my opinions on the things that we do know, right? So the update part of this is the toxicology came back, and they found cocaine and fentanyl in his system, right? Now, a businessman like that, I could see him dabbling a little bit of that cocaine, you know, on a business trip. It's not it's not like we haven't heard that story before. We don't know people that, you know, throughout life that may or may have not done that. Just saying. It's not that out of the ordinary. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm just saying, you know, it's known to happen, right? But that's about all I'll agree with, because check it out. I don't see a businessman like this going and saying, hey, let me go on this business trip and get some fucking fentanyl, a drug that kills people. That makes no sense. But what we do know about the drugs and everything that are going on in this country is fentanyl is being used to cut and strengthen a lot of drugs and stretch a lot of drugs out. Now, cocaine's a little bit pricey, right? A little bit pricey. So, you know, whether we're talking rocked up or not, pricey compared to this crap that's coming over the border, fentanyl, that's being produced in China and it's being brought in through the cartels straight through. Honestly, that's actually a traffic way. Where he was at is well-known traffic way for drugs to be coming in, right? So that being said, it really doesn't surprise me, and actually leads to my opinion on the fact that, you know, I don't think this was just an accidental overdose. I think the individual that gave him the drugs knew exactly what was in the drugs and knew if he did a certain amount of them, there was a good chance that he was going to OD. Now, why do I feel that way? Well, I feel that way because the fact that he didn't just OD, all right? We have people out here in California, where I'm from, that OD all the time from fentanyl or fentanyl use, and sometimes it's pure fentanyl use, and sometimes it's heroin cut with fentanyl or another drug cut with fentanyl. But primarily what we see is heroin cut with fentanyl, right? And we see it in the homeless population to the point where there's outreach programs that give away free Narcan. You know what I mean? So there's claims of Narcan being used in this situation, but that tells me right out the gate that the individual that gave him the drugs knew about fentanyl and knew the chances of fentanyl being in the product he was giving that person, right? But here's another thing too, is the person of interest, Mr. Perkins, he claims that he wasn't there for the overdose. Yeah, okay, sure. Everything that has come out so far from the people that weren't involved in this situation seems real murky on the details, but the details that they're given and the story that's been given, it makes zero sense to me. Absolutely zero sense. So, to me, somebody doesn't, you don't hook up with somebody, get drugs with somebody, and then they give you, you know, their bank card to go make purchases while you stay back at a house and hang out with girls. That does not seem logical. It doesn't make sense at all. Okay, so the fact that after Nathan died, or in the process of dying, or wherever the time frame may be, this person of interest is using Nathan's card, his debit card. Okay, it just does not jive with me. It makes no sense at all. Absolutely no sense. It doesn't add up. It just does not add up. So you're telling me this dude came and found a drug dealer and decided that he was going to go run around and find drugs with this drug dealer and find hookers, and he was going to party all night and then show up to a business meeting the next day? That makes no sense to me. If anything, it sounds like maybe, you know, maybe he was looking for a little something to make him feel better. Maybe. But I don't think the rest of this stuff tends to be true. That's my speculation, but none of it makes sense. The narrative, the story that's being put out does not make sense. The overdose part, that's factual. Obviously, they have the cocaine and the Narcan in the system, but outside of that, nothing else adds up in this, right? Because if it was legitimate, like overdose, whatever it may be, there would be different ways to deal with that situation, even if you didn't want him connected to you per se. You know what I mean? Like, obviously Perkins is the drug dealer. He wants to claim that he wasn't the person that gave him the drugs, but he's a known drug dealer, right? And it was bad enough to where he didn't want that death affiliated with him for whatever reason, whether it was purposely done or accidentally done. And so he wraps him up in a tarp or plastic in a rug, dumps his body, and then supposedly sells the card that he had transported him, even though it sounds like he just took it and torched it, because why would somebody buy it from him and then go torch it? There's so many little things in this case that absolutely make no sense. But I feel like the law enforcement they're not going to look into it because of the fact that it was a drug overdose and is dealing with a problem they have in that area that they can't get a control on. But the other thing that makes me feel weird about this case and really questions the narrative and all the strange details to it is the fact that there's other bodies that have been found disposed of in the same manner. So it's like, it makes no sense. So if you die in that area by overdose, that's the standard operating procedure, is that they don't try to save your life. They don't try to call anybody. They just let you die. They wrap you up and then leave you in an empty lot or in a in a wooded area. Like, that does not make sense. That doesn't make sense, and that's too coincidental for me to believe that that was just an accidental overdose when he's been disposed of after the overdose in a fashion that other people in that area have been disposed of. It does not make sense, guys. It does not add up. And the sad part is it looks like this police force, this department, is not gonna like proceed into a deeper investigation to see if like things are connected. It sounds like they're just gonna rule this an overdose and call it a day. And then even the charges, right? The charges don't even make, some of them make sense. Obviously, illegal disposal of a body, not getting help, or rendering aid. But like that's murder. You know what I mean? That's a murder. Like, you provided drugs to somebody laced with a very toxic drug that killed them. There's a ground for some type of murder charge on that. There has to be. And then it just doesn't make sense, guys. I don't know. And it really upsets me too, because I'm seeing a lot of victim shaming on this. It's like, he made a stupid decision. He shouldn't have did drugs and this and that. Well, granted, he shouldn't do drugs. Nobody should do drugs. But like, to get done like this, to OD, and then all of a sudden somebody's like disposing of your body in a heinous way and then burning the vehicle so it doesn't trace back to them after they've painted the vehicle and swapped plates or gotten rid of the plates. Like, the individual, the person of interest, Perkins, he went through too much to cover up where this body came from. Well, why would you do that if it was like accidental overdose? It makes no sense. There's so many other ways that you could have like gotten rid of him, I guess, if you would say, to where he would at least be found and properly taken care of. But no, it was covered up. And usually only cover up things when you're trying to hide things, when you've done something wrong or you're connected to something wrong. But luckily enough that this individual, Mr. Perkins, is too ignorant to realize that damn near every inch of this country almost now, in built up urban areas, it has CCTV. There's some type of camera watching you most of the time, and that without that we probably wouldn't have busted him using the card or driving in the area with the car. So, and that's another thing too, is nobody else was seen driving this car besides him, but he wants to claim that he had sold that car. So it makes no sense. None of the story jives. None of it makes sense. And granted, we got drug addicts and prostitutes telling us this story, so I mean, already out the gate, how much can you believe what they're saying? But that's what I feel in this situation. I feel like this wasn't just an accident. I feel like there's something going on in this area, and that maybe this person and the individuals that were with this person have more to do with other deaths in the area. And this might be an MO of drugging people to the point where they're going to overdose and then taking whatever monetary gain they can get off of them and then disposing of their body in a way that where it's hard to track it back to them. So that being said, guys, that's my update, and that's kind of my breakdown on and my feelings on this situation and my speculations on it. But I just I feel really bad for his family. It's one thing to have a family member do something they shouldn't have done and they die from it, but to have the family member die from in this such a mysterious way, like with these types of people, to where they're not going to get a true story, and then in a police department that's not going to dig deeper into it, it's super sad. It's really sad, because there's the family will never know, and then they're always going to have this thought in their head that something more sinister happened to, you know, their family member, and that's just going to make it harder for them to heal and get through this, process it. And I don't know, I just send all the love and prayers out to that family. I don't know if they'll ever come across any of my videos, but you know, I'm with them on this. I don't believe this was just a simple overdose. I think this was a little bit more sinister, some foul play along that had to do with it. And yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. It's already ran about 10 minutes in, and it was meant to just be a quick update. And yeah, anyways, that's my thoughts, my feelings. Let me know down in the comments like usual. If you could, I'd appreciate it greatly. Loving the engagement. Much love to all my subscribers. You guys rock. And yeah, until the next video, it's your boy, the Piscine Predator, y'all. Much love. Peace.